using return statement. Okay. Procedures returns values using output parameter, but function returns values using return statement. Okay, then. Clear then. So procedures returns values using output, but function returns values using return statement. Can we write two return statements? In function, can we write two return statements? No. That's why you can return only one value. You cannot return two return statements, but you can take two output parameters. You can take two output parameters, but you cannot write two return statements. Understood? Then. Next, procedures. Procedures. Okay. Then procedures. Like procedures can contain DML statements in procedure. So there is no restriction. You can write select statement, you can write insert, you can write update, you can write delete. But in functions, DML statements are not allowed. In function, you cannot write DML command. If you write DML commands in function, then it gives what? Error. 1 second. See, inside the function, for example, create or alter, just listen, just see this function F1, suppose @e integer as, then returns now, returns what? Integer, suppose as begin. What I'm doing is update emp set salary equal to salary plus 1000, where employee number equals to @e. Okay, and update emp set sal plus where employee number equals to e. What this function is doing? Updating. So let me create this. Okay, na? Invalid use of side effecting operator update within a function. Okay, na? Understood? Then. So that means inside the function, update command is not allowed. Not only update, DML is not allowed. And function must contain what's a return statement. You cannot create a function without return statement. Okay, then. So this is not allowed. Understood? Then. But procedures, DMLs are allowed or not? Yes. Okay, na? Then procedures can contain DML statements. Functions cannot contain what? Functions cannot contain DML statements. Inside the function, DML statements are not allowed. Okay, inside the function, DML statements are not allowed. Next. So can we call the procedure from select statement? After creating the procedure, can we call the procedure from select statement? No. Procedures cannot be called from select statement. Procedures cannot be called from SQL commands. You created a procedure, debit. Can you call the debit procedure from SQL command? No. Okay, na? Then. So, but function can be called from SQL commands. Yes. Okay, then. Procedures cannot be called from SQL commands. Functions can be called from SQL commands. Okay. Procedures cannot be called from SQL. After creating the procedure, you cannot call the procedure from select statement, update command, delete command like that. But functions can be called from what? Functions can be called from SQL commands. Okay, then. So next. Procedures. Okay. Procedures are created for what? Procedures are mainly created for to perform operations, mainly DML, inserting, updating, deleting. You create procedures. Functions are created for calculations. Okay. So I want to calculate tax. I want to calculate interest amount. I want to find the top N employees. So functions are mainly created for what? Calculations, but procedures are created for operations. Then, so procedures are created to perform one or more operations created to perform one or more operations like insert, update, delete, insert, update, delete. But functions are created for calculations, created to fetch data, created functions are created for calculations or to fetch data from table. Okay, then. So they are created for performing the operation, insert, update, delete, then create procedure. But function, you want a value from the table. You want a single value or you want multiple rows. So if you want data from table, then create what? Function. Or you want to perform some calculation. What is the interest amount calculation? Like that. Then create what? Function. Okay, then. So that's all. So this is the difference between what? Procedures and function. Okay, then. So if we want to see SP help, what's her text debit, SP help text debit, then it will show the procedure code, function code. If you want to see the code of the procedure, then you can just run this command. SP help text procedure name or function name. So I created a function CALC then. Okay. So if you want to see the procedures function code, you want to see the code, just run this one. Okay. Then next. Oh. SP help what text? SP help text. This is stored procedure. What is this? Is stored procedure. But we created debit. Debit is also a debit. Debit. What is operation mass? What is the debit? Debit is a stored procedure. Debit is a stored procedure. Okay. Then so, but this is also what stored procedure. SP underscore help text is also a stored procedure. Actually, stored procedure name is help text, but SP underscore. Okay, na? So, but what is this stored procedure is? It's not created by user. It is built-in, predefined. Debit, like we created na debit, raise salary. What are those? User defined. But SP help text is what? Predefined. Okay, stored procedure. So use it to see the procedure function, procedure or function code. To see the code, procedure code, function code. SP underscore help, SP underscore help text. Here you have to pass procedure name or function name. SP underscore help text, like example debit. Then so it will show the debit procedure code. It will show the debit procedure code. SP help text debit. Okay, procedure to see the code. Okay, that's all. So this is about what procedures and what functions. Okay, then what the next one is triggers. And okay, so and what is trigger? What for trigger is created? Okay, what is trigger and what for triggers are created? So procedures, functions, triggers. These are all programs. Okay, then trigger is also a trigger. Trigger is also a named TSQL block. Means trigger is also a named TSQL block. Means procedure is a named TSQL block. Function is a named TSQL block. Means programs created with name. Procedure created with name. Function created with name. Trigger is also created with what name? So it is also a named TSQL block, but like procedure, named TSQL block like procedure, but executed what? Executed what? Implicitly by SQL Server. So whenever user submits what? Whenever user submits DML commands, DML or DDL, anything, but mainly DML. Trigger is also a named TSQL block like procedure, but executed implicitly by SQL Server. Okay. What is the main difference between procedure and trigger is after creating procedure, then after creating the procedure, what we execute the procedure. After creating the procedure, what we call the procedure. We create the procedure, we call the procedure. Okay. But after creating what's the trigger? After creating the trigger, so we don't need to call the trigger. Trigger executes what? Automatically. Procedures are executed by user. Triggers are executed by SQL Server. So that is the main difference between these two. We don't need to call the trigger. Automatically it executes. But when it executes, when you submit DML commands, insert, update, delete commands, the trigger executes what? Automatically. Okay, then some task is there. Like for example, one task is there. I want to do that task automatically. After insert, after update, after delete, I want to do some action automatically. Then create what? Trigger. For example, employee resigns. Employee resigns. When employee resigns, what you do? When employee resigns, what action you perform? Database, delete. When employee resigns, you delete the record. When you delete the record from EMP table, when the record is deleted from EMP table, when you delete the record from EMP table, and that record should be automatically inserted into another table. Because see, what is my requirement is I want to keep the list of employees who resign from organization. I want to keep the list of employees who resign from organization. So when employee resigns, okay, you delete the record, and I want to insert that record automatically into some other table. That should be done automatically. We don't manually go to the table and insert. So this is the purpose. So where exactly triggers are useful. Okay, then. So triggers are created for what? So triggers are created. One. Triggers are created. One, to control DMLs, to control DMLs. Triggers are created to control the DMLs, to enforce complex rules and validations, to control DMLs, to enforce complex rules and validations, and to audit the day-to-day operations on tables, etc. So triggers are created to control the DMLs, to enforce complex rules and validations, to audit day-to-day operations on table. Okay, then. So these are the main purpose of creating what's it? Triggers. One is to control the DMLs, to enforce complex rules and validations, to audit day-to-day operations. But there are two more, but we don't need triggers for that because a new feature is introduced. What is that? Is to manage replicas. Triggers are created to manage the replicas. Replicas means duplicate copy. In old versions, triggers are used. Now you don't need to use trigger. Why? You don't need to use trigger to manage the replicas because one command is introduced. What is the command introduced to manage the replicas? Merge. What is the command introduced to manage the replicas? Merge. Merge command. Okay. Then next, and triggers are created to generate values for primary key columns. We don't need trigger because you can use sequence or you can use identity. You can use sequence or you can use identity. You don't need trigger for this. Okay, then. For the last two, we don't need triggers. One is this where we use merge, and for this we can use sequence. But triggers are mainly created for this, to control the DMLs, to enforce complex rules, to audit day-to-day operations. And here you take this one. What is controlling the DMLs means? Controlling the DMLs means, like for example, user is allowed to insert, update, delete only Monday to Saturday. User is allowed to insert, update, delete only Monday to Saturday. Sunday is not allowed. Sunday what? Sunday is not allowed. If you try to insert, update, delete on Sunday, then not allowed. I want to show some error to the user because it is illegal to insert, update, delete on Sunday. That is one. Second one. Next, another one. Monday to Friday is allowed between 10 to 4 p.m. Okay, na? Is allowed between 10 to 4 p.m. Saturday is allowed between 10 to 2. Sunday is not allowed. Whole day not allowed. Monday to Friday 10 to 4. Saturday 10 to 2. Sunday whole day not allowed. How this can be done? How this is done? This is done by using what? Triggers. What is this? What do you want to do? You want to control. You want to control the DML. You want to what? Control the DML. So to control the DML, then create what's triggers. Okay. Next. User is not allowed to update employee number. He can update name, he can update job, salary, height, date, whatever. Remaining columns he can update. But he's not allowed to update employee number. Why? Employee number is what? Primary key. Okay, and now primary key values can't be updated. So if at all user is trying to update employee number, I want to stop. How this can be done? By using triggers. Okay. And salary cannot be decremented. Salary can be only incremented. If user is trying to decrement salary, I want to stop. How this can be done? By using trigger. Okay. Then, so what is this? All these examples are what? Controlling the what's that? DMLs. Update is not allowed. Insert is not allowed. Delete is not allowed. Like that. I want to control like that. Only allowed between 10 to 4. Allowed between 10 to 2. Like this. And enforcing complex rules. Enforcing. Already you know one method. How to enforce the rules in SQL. How to enforce rules in SQL? Huh? How to enforce rules? Rules means immediately you should get one. What is that is? How to enforce rules in SQL? SQL Server by using what? Constraints. You know now what is not null, unique, primary key, check, foreign key. What are there? There are constraints. And another method is what? Triggers. Trigger is another method. So there are two methods to enforce rules in SQL. One is using constraints, another one triggers. Rules. Minimum salary should be 3,000. Okay, now then name should start with something. Otherwise, password should be minimum 6 characters. Amount should be multiple of 100. All these are what's the rules. So like these rules can be implemented in two ways, constraints and triggers. But when we use constraints, when we use trigger, if the rule is simple rule, you can use what? Constraint. If the rule is complex rule, then use trigger. If the rule is what's it? Simple rule. If the rule is simple rule, then you can use constraint. If the rule is complex rule, then use what? Trigger. Okay, then. So that's all. So these are the like purpose of creating triggers: to control the DMLs, to enforce complex rules, to audit day-to-day operations. We'll see what is auditing day-to-day operations, managing replicas, generate values for primary key columns. Okay, then next, what is the syntax for creating the trigger? What is the syntax is create or alter trigger name. Create or alter trigger name. Next, on table name. On which table you create? After or what? Of insert comma update comma delete as statements. So this is the syntax for creating trigger. Create or alter trigger name, on table name, after or instead of, insert, update, delete as statements. Okay, then. So create or alter trigger name, on table name like this. Then, but here, what is important here? This is important. After instead of. There are two triggers here. One is after trigger, another one instead of trigger. Okay, then what I said, triggers are executed automatically. Yes, if trigger is after trigger, then if trigger is after trigger, then what? So if trigger is after trigger, you created one trigger after update. You created one trigger after update. When that is executed, you submit update command. When you submit this update command to SQL, what it will do? First, it will execute this update command. After executing the update command, it executes what's a trigger. When you submit this update command to SQL, first it executes what? Update command. After executing the update command, it executes what? Trigger. Okay, then. So now, so if trigger is after, then SQL Server executes the trigger. SQL Server execute the trigger after executing what? DML. If trigger is after, first it executes DML, next it executes trigger. Okay, then. So what the next one is, instead of what? Instead of trigger. Instead of triggers. After triggers and instead of triggers. Instead of triggers. If the trigger is instead of, then if the trigger is instead of, then if trigger is instead of trigger, then SQL Server, like what, like you created a trigger. What the trigger is instead of what? Update. Instead of update, then you submit what? Update command. You submit the update command. Okay. So when you submit the update command to SQL, okay, na? SQL Server, then it will not execute this update command. It will not execute update command. What is executed? What is executed? Trigger is executed. It will not execute the DML. It will execute trigger. That means DML is replaced with what? Trigger. But in case of after, both are executed. Update is executed, trigger is executed. First update, next trigger. But here what is always, what is executed? Trigger. So the name itself is instead of, after. Okay, na? Then. So if trigger is instead of, then SQL Server execute the trigger instead of executing DML. SQL Server execute the trigger instead of executing the DML. Okay, then. So trigger is installed, then SQL Server execute the trigger instead of executing DML. That's all. So there are two. Okay, now then. Now, so when you are creating the trigger, you have to decide. Okay, now, but like if it is after or instead of, whatever you want to do, you can do it in after also. Okay, now then. But there are two next. So let's see some examples. Let's take one example. Let's take one example. So what this is, create trigger, create trigger. Okay, create trigger to not to allow DMLs on Sunday on EMP table. Not to allow the DMLs. That means what is not allowed? Insert is not allowed. Update is not allowed. Delete is not allowed. Okay, na? Insert is not allowed. Update is not allowed. Delete is not allowed. Then. Okay, then. So what? See, then create or alter trigger name T1. So I'm creating the trigger name is what? T1 on what? EMP, on EMP. So create or alter trigger T1 on EMP. Next what? On EMP, then after what is not allowed? DMLs are not allowed. Insert is not allowed. Update is not allowed. Delete is not allowed. You want to check all the three, only insert, or only update, or only delete. All the three. Then if what is all the three, you have to write like this. Insert. Okay, na? Insert comma, update comma, delete. So trigger is executed in all the three cases. When you submit insert command, this trigger is executed. When you submit update command, trigger is executed. When you submit the delete command also, trigger is executed. So trigger executes in all the three cases. Not only insert, not only update, not only delete. It executes in all the three cases. Now tell me what if. Okay, na? Yeah, if what? So you have to check inside the trigger what you have to do. Check whether user is inserting, updating, deleting on Sunday or not. If at all user is inserting, updating, deleting on Sunday, then stop. Then how? If what day name, date name, DW, comma what get date equal to Sunday. Okay, then now if this condition true, that means user is inserting, updating, deleting on Sunday. Then allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Not allowed means what? But this trigger is executed what, sir? After the DML. The trigger is executed what? After the DML. Okay, na? So DML is already executed. Then cancel the DML. How to cancel it? Rollback. How to cancel the DML? Rollback. Because trigger is not executed before the DML. It is executed after the DML. So then I want to cancel the DML. How to cancel? Rollback. 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 Then what is the next one? Next one, what's that? Raise error. Raise error. Because I want to show error to the user because he's doing illegal operation. He's not supposed to insert, update, delete on Sunday, but he's trying to insert, update, delete on Sunday. So roll back the operation, show the error to the user. What that is? Sunday, what? Sunday, not allowed. 15, 1. What is 15? What is 1? Just going see the raise error. We discussed it, raise error. Just go and see that. Okay, na? Then. So like this. Now create this trigger. Create the trigger. Create the trigger. So trigger is created after creating the trigger. After creating the trigger. Okay, na? Then next. After creating the trigger, then test it. How to test? Insert, update, delete. I'll take Sunday. You write Sunday, but I'm writing what? Sunday. Just because today is Saturday now. Just for testing, I'm changing the condition. Now create trigger is created. After creating, now what? But I not changed the message bus. Message I not changed it. Okay, na? Okay. Saturday not allowed. Like what? After this, test it. How to test? Update. EMP set salary equal to salary plus 1000, where employee number equal to 10110 something. 110 salaries, I'm incrementing 110 salary by 1000. Incrementing 110 salary by 1000. So let me run this command. What this command gives? Sunday not allowed. Okay, now maybe I not executed. Like, understood or not? Then. Huh? Okay, now message I not changed it. I think. No. Okay, boss. Then it's created. Okay. Now run this command. Saturday not allowed. Okay. Got it? Then. So not only update, not only update, delete the record. How to delete? Delete from EMP. So I'm trying to delete the record from EMP table. Delete the record. Saturday not allowed. Okay, na? Saturday not allowed. Then. Understood? Then. So you're not, you cannot insert, update, delete on what? Insert, update, delete on Saturdays. Okay, then. Clear? Now, Then how to testing, how to test it. Test, submit the update command, submit the DML, any DML, update EMP set sal equal to sal plus 1000, where employee number equals to 110, like submit the DML. Then check whether SQL Server is accepting the DML or not. If condition false, accept it. If condition true, exception is raised. Oh, oh. See, actually, what is that is first DML. Forget about triggers. What happens when you submit the DML? Automatically committed. That means after DML, internally what is executed? Commit is executed. After DML, commit is executed. Yes or no? But when trigger comes into the picture, DML is executed. Next trigger is executed. Next commit is executed. First DML, next trigger, next DML. Understood, na?